Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for January 2nd. January 2nd is the second day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 363 days remaining to the end of the year, or 364 if it happens to be a leap year. Perihelion, the point during the year when the Earth is closest to the Sun, occurs on or around this date. In the Northern Hemisphere, the latest sunrise of the year occurs on or around this date. Looks like in 2024, this will be about 8 p.m. Central Time on January 2nd. Yesterday, we talked about the word eisegesis, and today we're going to talk about exegesis. To recap, where in eisegesis the reader expresses their own ideas about what the text means, exegesis relies on the original meaning of what was written in the context of the time in which it was written. Remember, we've mentioned on this channel before, language and words evolve and change in meaning over time. Exegesis seeks to understand and explain what was meant in terms of when the passage was written, to understand the meaning in its original historical context. The word exegesis comes through Latin, originally from Greek, a word that meant to explain or interpret. Exegesis. Yesterday's word eisegesis and today's word exegesis were requested by YouTube viewer at Adela Jones 9887. Thank you, Adela. Interestingly, in the course of researching these words, I found another word that appears to be related to these two, and we'll be looking at that one tomorrow. And remember, if you have a word you'd like us to examine in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, on January 2nd, 1788, Georgia became the fourth state to ratify the United States Constitution, making it the fourth state of the Union. Georgia is the 24th largest state in area, 8th most populous. Atlanta is Georgia's capital and largest city. The Atlanta metropolitan area contains more than half the population of the entire state and is the 8th most populous metropolitan area in the United States. Georgia was initially founded in 1732 as the province of Georgia and became a British royal colony in 752. The state was named after King George II of Great Britain, who will have been the king who issued that charter, authorizing its establishment. Georgia's nickname is the Peach State, and you'll see evidence of this in names like Peachtree Street. Georgia's state flower is a variety of rose commonly known as the Cherokee rose. The flowers look like the little wild roses, but are actually 2.5 to nearly 4 inches across, 6 to 10 centimeters for my metric friends. Georgia's state bird is the brown thrasher. State tree is the live oak, an oak tree with slender glossy leaves. Georgia is also associated with the Vidalia onion and peanuts. This is the birthday of American singer, songwriter, musician, and actor Roger Miller, born January 2nd, 1936. Best known for his honky-tonk-influenced novelty songs, he had several very popular songs, and if you're familiar with who Roger Miller is, there's probably one of those songs running through your head right now. He was born in Fort Worth, Texas. His daddy passed away when Roger was about a year old. The country was in the throes of the Great Depression at the time, and his mother, worried about how they would survive, took her children to live with relatives in Oklahoma. So Roger grew up on a farm outside of Erick, Oklahoma. After a stint in the U.S. Army, he played and sang whenever and wherever he could and signed his first recording contract in 1958. Over the course of his career, Roger Miller released some 91 albums and 52 singles. 3 of his singles hit #1, and those were Dang Me, King of the Road, and England Swings. Roger Miller died in 1992 at the age of 56. Actress Anne Francis, what a stunner. She had a pretty decent filmography, but is probably best known for her roles in the 1956 science fiction movie Forbidden Planet and the 1965-66 action drama TV series Honey West. We watched Forbidden Planet just recently. That one was a groundbreaker for being a first in color, big budget, science fiction themed movie. Sometimes when you watch some of those old 1950s and even some of the 1960s era sci fi movies, some of them are really choppy with unlikely plot development, poor continuity, and some of the props look like they were cobbled together out of cardboard boxes and masking tape, which some of them probably were. Granted, that's part of their charm now, that early 1950 black and white sci fi shtick. Forbidden Planet, though, that one was really well done. I actually had to look it up while we were watching it because I couldn't believe it was made in 1956. Quite the innovation. But yes, Anne Francis was in that one. And as I mentioned, the other part of hers that I really enjoyed was as Honey West. There were nearly 100 parts listed for television and movie parts that she acted in, so she was a pretty busy gal. I started to say from 1947 to 2004, but those are just the TV and movie parts. In addition to that, she began modeling at the age of 5 and was in a Broadway production at 11. She married twice, had one child, adopted a second child, learned how to fly a plane, and earned a pilot's license. She wrote a book, Voices from Home, an inner journey about her spiritual journey. The ever more amazing Anne Francis died in 2011 at the age of 80. Now, if you're curious to know what I might have talked about in previous episodes for January 2nd, I'll leave a link to one of those episodes in case you'd like to check that out. Roger Miller did have a gift for capturing imagery and writing humorous songs. King of the Road good-naturedly describes the day-to-day life of a traveling hobo who doesn't have much, but revels in his freedom, calls himself King of the Road. King of the Road was released in 1965 and hit number 1 on the U.S. country chart and number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, serving as a crossover piece for him. Roger Miller won 5 Grammy Awards for this song. King of the Road by Roger Miller. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoyed this series, check out the playlist that contains these videos, and I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again and all. See you next time. This is the birthday.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I wasn't talking to you. John, are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. We got to make that be quiet. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for... Oh, where's your microphone? Okay, we don't want to say the same thing twice. Oh, get your microphone. What is it with you and this microphone? Okay, here we go. Okay, we are still recording. That's great. Okay. How about that? We'll have a lot to edit today. Cacophony is a sound. Cacophony is a noun that you got to read it the right way. Let's start over. It's 8 o'clock, so all of the reminders are going to be dinging. I forgot to turn those off. Okay, stop it. It's 8 o'clock. Don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. Flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty. Back to work. I think we got it this time.